Guys, so today I want to start a series on hubs, and I specifically want to start with Hadley because they were one of the first high-end hubs I ever bought. And when I made my first custom single speed, I had to get Hadley. And one of the reasons I chose Hadley was I knew about their reputation, and my friend had told me about Hadley having hubs that you could actually, back then everybody was quick release axle, and Hadley had hubs that were a through axle before everybody else. So they were ahead of their time. They had a 135 through axle that actually that they sold with their hub, so you could actually clamp on a 135 hub without a quick release with actually a through axle. Now when I bought this hub, it came as a through bolt. So what that meant was it was a bolt-on type of wheel, and this is the same hub. This is the single speed hub that I originally bought like 10 years ago with my first custom single speed. And you can see this is the original model. It's a SS R6.2. That was the original Hadley single speed hub model, and it came with this. And this was a 135 bolt-on axle, and these bolts are pretty cool because these bolts were titanium, because this was pretty heavy. This is still aluminum, but it's some pretty thick aluminum because you need to thread this titanium and bolt onto it. So this was the original axle that it came with. And then when I bought a new single speed after I switched that bike out to another single speed, and that bike is actually the one in my videos in the Philippines. I'm riding that bike, the Titus. That was my Titus 11. That single speed is still over as a geared bike in the Philippines. Anyway, Hadley was ahead of their time. They actually converted this into a different axle that would take a regular through axle, and this is a Robert Axle Projects through axle that I bought aftermarket after I bought this frame. I think it came with a Syntace or something like that. So that this hub was intentionally built to be a single speed wheel set only. Now the reason I chose to do that is I wanted something that was wider flanged. So then I would have a stronger wheel. It wouldn't be dished over to accommodate that wider free hub body, and it would be center dished, and it obviously makes a stronger wheel. And these are big hoops. These are 29, and so you're putting a lot of torque on them too, especially with a single speed, because every pedal stroke that you're going uphill is complete engagement, complete moshing. And so you don't have a derailleur, you don't have a cassette, you don't have a changing gears to offset some of that torque. It's constant torque on it all the time. So another thing to consider, and this made it not the lightest hub, but is one of the reasons I chose it. My free hub body is actually made out of titanium. So titanium, obviously being a stronger metal than aluminum, you're not going to gouge the outside with your cog, and you're also not going to get damaged on the inside where the paws rake across the free hub body for the engagement. So Hadley, like I said, they were ahead of their time. I found out about Hadley when I bought my Foes bike a long time ago, and obviously Foes racing bikes were ahead of their time. They were actually making 160 millimeter downhill hubs prior to anybody even heard of this Super Boost 157. They were already making 160s 10 years ago, and Brent Foes knew that he wanted a precision made hub, and of course it's just here in California, American made, right down the street in Pomona, California, a small mom and pop company, and they don't even have a website. So the information you get on it is usually secondhand information. Ball Racing carries a lot of their carries all their hubs, I think, and has a little bit of information on, but they don't have a big informational website. The reputation that they have that stayed with them has been word of mouth, and people just know if you're going to buy a Hadley hub, you're going to get a very good precision made hub that's going to last you a long time. and when everybody was switching different axle sizes to the 135 to the 142 to the 148, and now there's even the 157. Well, Hadley did it right. They didn't just have little cheesy end caps that popped on the end. They actually replaced the whole axle. And so I don't know, I can't commend them enough of being such a great company and a great hub. And when you're considering building up your dream bike or improving on that bike that you have, and maybe you bought a single speed and it came with a geared hub, and you'd really like to have a single speed specific hub and a higher end wheel set, you really have to consider, when you're looking at a higher end wheel set, is what hub are you going to get. And Hadley hubs give you a lot of bang for the buck. They're not as expensive as some of the other brands, but they are made just as good and they last forever. And this, like I said, this hub has been around for 10 years, and of course it's been rebuilt a few times, but new bearings, new seals. But that's another thing you get when you get a high-end hub, is you can rebuild it. You can put new paws in there, you can put new seals, you can put new bearings, and it's rebuildable, and it makes it into a brand new hub basically. And it still looks new. It's dirty right now because my bikes don't sit around in the garage and just stay clean. My bikes get ridden and get dirty. That's just what happens when you are a person like me that really likes to ride. So there you go, guys. Take a look at Hadley hubs, and thanks for watching my channel. I'll put some more information about Hadley hubs and a whole series on different hub sets that I have on my different wheel sets, and talk about them a little bit and why I chose those hubs for the different wheels. But you can't go wrong if you get a Hadley hub, especially a Hadley single speed hub. I just think it's probably one of the best single speed hubs out there. And if you're going to go all out and build up a nice handmade wheel set for your bike, take a look at Hadley hubs.